You are standing here on the banks of the Gardon River. Yet for centuries, crossing this river at Collias was a real ordeal. Until the early 19th century, there was no bridge spanning the Gardon. Travelers relied on uncertain crossings that depended on the seasons, the river's floods, and the courage of those willing to attempt the journey. A simple ferry boat, known locally as la barque, carried people from one bank to the other. Held in place by a cable, it was slow, carried few passengers, and became useless whenever the river rose above the level of the Cavalier Rock. Anyone wishing to reach the Couffin Woods or continue toward Nîmes had only two choices: wait or risk their life in the current. Everything changed at the beginning of the 19th century. As early as 1814, the idea of building a bridge was proposed by the architect Collias of Uzès. Then, on October 1, 1821, the municipal council, led by Mayor François-Xavier Désiré Jolicoeur, made a decisive commitment. The village would build a bridge. The goal was to create a permanent link between the two banks, end the village's isolation, and restore the route connecting Uzès and Nîmes through Collias. Engineers began drawing plans. Antoine Guiraud proposed several stone bridges, one measuring 118 meters with 7 arches, another with 5 arches, and an impressive central span of 40 meters, inspired in part by the famous Pont du Gard. But these designs were too expensive, too difficult to build, and too vulnerable to the Gardon's floods. The project stalled. Administrative delays, technical challenges, and financial difficulties piled up. Fortunately, Collias had an exceptional mayor. François Jolicoeur was no ordinary local official. Before serving his village, he had been one of Napoleon's secret agents, an officer of the Legion of Honor, and had infiltrated conspiracies and arrested dangerous political opponents. Now he devoted that same determination to securing a bridge for Collias. To make the project possible, he even pledged his own estate, more than 200 hectares, as security for the municipality's loans. Finally, in 1832, a new solution emerged. Instead of a massive stone structure, the village chose to build a suspension bridge. At the time, this was still an innovative technology. It was less expensive, quicker to construct, and better suited to the unpredictable river. Construction soon transformed the village into a vast building site. As many as 300 workers took part in the project. Quarrymen extracted the stone, masons built the towers, laborers prepared the foundations, and even poor villagers from Collias and nearby communities found employment. Skilled masons earned 1 franc and 80 centimes a day, while women received just 50 centimes. The stone came from the quarries of Vert and Castillon, while the lime was transported from Nîmes. Building a suspension bridge required far more than stacking blocks of stone. Its 92-meter oak deck hung above the water, supported by 10 iron cables, each made of 19 twisted wires. Before opening, the bridge underwent 3 full days of load testing. At last, on May 25, 1834, the bridge was officially inaugurated. It was blessed by Father Jacques Janin in the presence of Mayor Jolicoeur. A few weeks later, on June 30th, it opened to the public under the name Louis-Philippe Bridge, honoring the royal grant of 25,000 francs that had helped finance its construction. For the first time, people could cross the Gardon safely. But safety came at a price. A toll was introduced for the first 20 years. Even then, changing old habits was not easy. The experience of the second suspension bridge at nearby Moussac illustrates this well. After receiving a government subsidy in 1839, its concessionaire, Adolphe Boulon, still faced resistance from local travelers. A prefectural decree issued on February 10, 1841, prohibited people from fording the river for nearly 3/4 of a mile upstream and downstream from the bridge. The authorities had to overcome centuries-old customs before people embraced this new way of crossing the river. Perhaps this is a fitting moment to recall the famous remark of Georges Clemenceau. France is a fertile country. Officials are planted there, and taxes grow in abundance.
La France est un pays fertile, on y plante des fonctionnaires et il y pousse en abondance des impôts.